What's up, guys? So we finally got the new 7 stars in the game. We haven't had new 7 stars in like a long time, so they did drop this. And also, guys, if you don't know, you guys can for a limited time as well get Zoro and Vegeta, so make sure you guys do that. And if you do need to get more Stardust, just come on over here for the tower mode. So now let's rank all the 7 stars, and I'll show you guys which ones you should be grinding for. Also, guys, don't forget to smash the like button and the subscribe button if you want to get my new co-unit Toru, guys, and let me know what star should I make her. Should I make her 5 star, 6 star, 7 star, 8 star? Let me know down below. Maybe even a 1 star. All right, here's our tier list. Let's start off. All right, let's start off by the only 7 stars that are unobtainable and probably permanently unobtainable. So this is kind of a big oof, but unfortunately, guys, if you want to get Naruto 7 star or Sasuke 7 star, I don't think they're making a comeback. It's kind of a yikes, guys. So let's go start off with Kurama. So if you combine them together, you get Kurama. Now, Kurama is a pretty decent unit, guys, but again, if you already have him, you already have him. So basically, he just does a bunch of damage. He's basically Meta Knight on, steroids. So if we take a look, guys, at how much he does, he is doing quite a bit of damage. All right, he's doing 17.7 million at max with a 6 SPA, making him a pretty high DPS unit, but he's also very expensive. I believe he costs like 12 million to place. So overall, guys, he's honestly overrated. I don't think he's part of any leaderboard strategy, and plus, or any strategy in general. So I'm going to have to give him B tier, guys. He's a decent unit if you have him, but most people don't. All right, next up we have Sasuke. Now, Sasuke is actually very, very underrated. So let's go place down Sasuke. They did nerf him, guys. He used to be way more OP, but unfortunately they nerfed him. He's still really good for raids, though, because he does air damage, guys. He is a hybrid unit. All right, which is very nice. And he has Black Flames, which basically means you can multiply his damage by 22. So he's doing insane amounts of damage. And plus, if you give him the Fire Rage Orb, he's doing even more damage. So he does insane amounts of damage for raid modes for only 650 bucks. So very good. Also, he has some good upgrades for Infinite Mode. I'll just show you guys what these are. His Black Flames again, but for 3.84 million. And they also made him cheaper as well. So they did buff him recently. Now he only costs 4.6 million. All this combined means he's like really good for Black Flames ability in pretty much every Infinite Mode, except for he's not good in Gauntlet mode and he's not good in like normal Infinite Mode. But if you're doing any Infinite Mode with airs, he's definitely pretty good. So for that reason, guys, we're gonna have to give him A tier, mainly because there's units that are meta for more than him, so I can't give him too much credit. But he definitely still is one of the best 7 stars, guys. Don't get me wrong. It's just other 7 stars are better. All right. Next up, guys, we have his counterpart. We have Naruto. Now, unfortunately, Naruto is kind of mid. The only place where Naruto shines is, look at this, man. He only costs $400 to place, and he's really good for raids. So, like, if you're trying to do the Marine raid, he's busted OP for that, guys. He does insane amounts of damage. But unfortunately, his stats, when he's a 7 star, like in his final Infinite Mode forms, his DPS is just pretty low overall, even though he is cheap at only 1.4 million to max. Overall, though, we're going to have to give him the C tier. All right, next up we have Broly. I don't think he's in the banner at the moment, but he's still a very, very good unit. So let me go place down Broly. Now, honestly, he's not good for raid modes at all. So if you take a look, he's not good at all for raid modes. But the thing that makes him nice is they did actually make his final upgrade cheaper. You saw it was 8.5 million now. But they did also nerf his damage a while back. Like, overall, he's still a good unit, guys. I just don't think people use him as much anymore, especially in, like, solo modes, etc. But if you're using Gauntlet, he's decent. But, like, as far as him being meta for things anymore, he's just not the greatest. So, unfortunately, guys, we're going to have to give him A tier as well. I know I might get some hate for this, guys, but I'm sorry, man. Which one would you rather bring, man? I don't know, dude. Anyways, next up, guys, we have Diavolo. Now, Diavolo is busted OP for the new Gauntlet mode. All right. And also, he has pretty decent damage as well, but he's not good at all for raid mode. That's the only side effect of him. But for every single Infinite Mode, he is more than meta, as well as meta for Gauntlet mode. So the only thing is he also doesn't hit airs, and he kind of interferes with Zoro's bleeds. You have to be a little bit careful with that. But because he's basically busted OP for Gauntlet mode, we're going to really have to give this guy S tier. And he's meta for every single Infinite Mode, which is the definition of S tier. Next up, guys, we have Gohan. Now, I don't have Gohan, guys. I'm waiting for him to come back in the Stardust banner. So we have this guy as a placeholder. But overall, guys, Gohan has probably, I think, like one of the highest DPSs of all the 7 stars. And he actually was part of some of the best solo strategies. So we're going to have to give Gohan low S tier, guys. All right, next up, we have Zoro. Now, again, I don't have Zoro either. yet. I will be spinning for him later tonight. So if you guys want to come to my stream and see that, we will be streaming for playing him later, trying to get him later tonight, which is gonna be pretty fun. The nice thing about Zoro, guys, is he's the best bleed unit in the game, but unfortunately, it's not as amazing, guys. While he is the best bleed unit, he's not currently meta for any LB strategies, and he does interfere with Diavolo. So, like, unfortunately, we're gonna have to give him high A tier. And honestly, I think I would rather have Sasuke over him. But I think he might be a little bit better than Broly. All right, next up, guys, we have... Alright, guys, next up we have Metal Cooler. Now, if you guys want to learn how to get water affinity on Metal Cooler, comment down below and I'll make a guide. I hacked my Metal Cooler to get this on him, so let me know if you guys want to know how to hack that as well, too. So Metal Cooler, guys, a lot of you guys know he's a good air unit in general. Like, he actually does good enough air damage, but what makes him OP is his self-clone ability, which is basically just pretty much the most broken ability of all time. So, definitely pretty OP. They keep trying to nerf him, guys, so watch out. And I don't think he's in the banner right now. Maybe correct me if I'm wrong. Or maybe he's in one of them. But yeah, definitely try to go for Metal Cooler when you can. He's going to allow you to basically beat every single raid mode with ease. So because he's the raid mode god, and pretty much everybody wants people to nerf him, we're going to have to give him S tier, guys. If you're doing raid modes to grind for any other 7 stars, you really got to get Metal Cooler. Alright, next up we have Cell Insect, another one of the free 7 stars. You just get this one by doing the Battle Road things in your daily tasks. Unfortunately, though, he kind of sucks. But low-key, you could kind of use him for the Hell Raid, sort of. Like, he's not the end of the world. He has a nice full AoE, so, like, he's not the terrible. But the problem with him, guys, he just doesn't do anything that special. He has decent DPS, but, like, there's like 6 stars that are just as good as him. So I just don't really think I can recommend him, guys. Like, overall, he's kind of a throwaway. So as far as 7 stars, I'll show you his effects, though, at least, in case you guys wanted to see. But yeah, overall, guys, he's definitely kind of a throwaway unit. I'm gonna have to give him probably the worst 7 star, and I think everybody can agree. Next up, guys, we have Blue Vegu. Now, the nice thing about Blue Vegu is you can also use him to get Vegito, which is pretty nice. He's also very, very good for raid mode as well. I used to use him in, like, for the Winterfell raid when that was a thing. Look at this, guys. 1.2 million with his giant AoE is pretty busted, especially considering it only cost you 90k total to get this. And then he also has this as well, guys, which makes him a really, really high DPS unit with 100 range, full AoE, 3.15. So overall, guys, he's definitely a very, very good unit. I would say he's definitely meta for raids, most raids, as well as meta for infinite for some infinite mode strategies. So overall, guys, I'm gonna have to give him high A tier. Though I don't see people using him as much as Gohan and the like, so I don't know if I can put him up there. But he also is better at raids than Gohan, so he's definitely up there as a good unit to get. So honestly, spinning on the Zoro Vegeta banner isn't the worst thing in the world, but I don't know if I would recommend it. All right, next up, but if you have a lot of stars to burn, might as well. Mochi is another great unit, guys. Everybody knows him. He's a good slow unit. He's very, very meta, so basically get him no matter what. Like, I definitely recommend him. Or you just have to have a friend that has him, to be honest. You don't have to necessarily have him, because only really one person on your team needs him. But overall, he's definitely the best slow unit in the game. Easily high S tier. And if you guys have the 5 star, definitely evolve it to the 7 star. The 6 star is not that good. So we're going to have to give him S tier. Alright, next up, guys, we got Ichigo. Now, Ichigo is good for air mode specifically, but he also has a very, very high DPS as well. But he definitely is meta for air leaderboards. He's pretty much like the air mode killer. If you take a look at him, he does really, really good DPS. You guys can see 24.6 million for 8. And if you awaken him, he goes to 26.8 million for 8, and then better range and better AoE cone. Alright, so with that AoE cone as well, like, you can kind of tell he's even better than, like, Vegeta and stuff. Like, he has a higher DPS overall if you compare the two. Alright, you guys can pretty much easily compare those. So he's definitely a very, very good unit, guys, even if you don't awaken him. So he's definitely like a high recommended unit to bring. I do think Gohan is still slightly better for most things, but Ichigo is very good too. So I'm gonna have to give Ichigo a solid S tier as well, but I'm gonna give Gohan the slight edge. That's kind of my personal opinion. And Mochi's good, but like, you can use Blackbeard for most cases. That's why he's lower down on the S tier. All right, Princess Apollo. She used to actually be kind of trash, but now that we have Gauntlet mode, she is high meta for Gauntlet mode, and she's actually not that bad of a unit in the grand scheme of things. She even does decent DPS as well. But the problem with her is you can only place down 4 of her, so like, she's not as good in infinite mode, but she's still decent with that 3.15 million for 5. Like, look at this compared to Vegeta. Granted, you get the better AoE, but like double the damage of Vegeta. but Vegeta does have that way nicer AoE. So it's kind of a toss-up, but because of this touch grace ability, that definitely puts her in the meta. So she's meta for Gauntlet mode, so we're gonna have to give her like low S tier. Plus she's free she's probably the easiest 7-star to get in the game as well. So I definitely recommend her. Okay. All right, here we go, guys. Next up, we got Mob. Now, Mob isn't really that good for story mode, but he is usable, actually. So maybe not too bad for raids. What makes him nice is this ability right here. He basically just becomes Light Yagami. So it's pretty busted. So if we just send his ability real quick, like you can just look at this, guys. Right at the 22.5 billion damage. He basically instantly auto-completes your damage task, which is really nice. And he's pretty much meta for every single mode as well. Besides story modes, I guess. Like he's meta for infinite mode, gauntlet mode, etc. Well, kind of meta for gauntlet mode, sort of. But he's definitely a really good 7-star to have. Next up, I don't actually have these ones yet, but I have the 5 stars for them. So I'll just go over what they do real quick, in case you guys are wondering. So Aizen 7-star, basically what Aizen 7-star does is he actually buffs money units, if you guys didn't know. I'll make a video about that later on. Alright, so he's actually really good for that. He's meta pretty much alone for that. He also is Crollo, but he's basically Meta Cooler on steroids combined with time rewind units like Giorno, Julius, etc. So he has both of those combined, so he's pretty much cracked out. The only problem is he's not really that affordable for story mode, but he's still good in story mode. But he's not like, you can't use his Crollo / Meta Cooler ability in story mode, which is unfortunate. And then Meliodas is basically better Zamasu. So very meta as well. But not the craziest of 7 stars. I don't think he's like super high priority, considering Zamasu is almost as good. But definitely still a decent unit to get. I just probably wouldn't like go for him first. So as far as the new 7 stars go, guys, Aizen is busted OP. I would say Mob is definitely S tier as well. I would probably go for Mob like pretty soon, just because he's really nice for infinite mode and damage. And then unfortunately, guys, I'm gonna have to give Meliodas B tier. He is infinite mode meta, but he's only slightly better than God Hero. Zamasu. So I just don't really recommend getting him. But like you might as well get him, but like he's just not that cracked. He is good for story mode though, and raid modes, etc. So we'll give him some credit for that. But overall, I'd probably pass on him and just go for Aizen.